Hi, I'm Anders Gabrielsson. This is the second or 1.5 session of Stars in the Dark, which is a reskin of Blades in the Dark to be set in Star Wars on lovely, lovely level 13 of Coruscant, as you can see behind me. It's a very nice place, 4,000 levels below the surface of the planet and 1,300 levels above the actual surface of the planet. Nothing bad ever happens here, except all the crimes. This Blades in the Dark is a game where you play a crew of scoundrels performing bad deeds for money. And this particular group are assassins. They are aligned with the rebellion. This game is set in a vague time after the Empire has technically fallen, after the Battle of Yavin, where the second Death Star is destroyed and Palpatine is dead forever, never coming back. Yeah, never happens. But the Empire still holds sway in large parts of the galaxy, including Coruscant. So there are rebels present here, but they're kind of an underground movement trying to looking for chances to establish their power. And these assassins are kind of friendly with some of them. They have taken on a job to kill an imperial bureaucrat, or disappear an imperial bureaucrat who is funneling resources to a nascent stay-behind organization of Imperials who are stocking up on weapons and such to prepare for when the rebels take over so that they can cause trouble, and we don't want that. So that's who they're looking for right now. Last session, we did most of the character creation and crew creation, as well as the preparation for this job, but Matt wasn't present for that session. He is most welcome for this session. So we have another character joining us, and I think we should do player introductions and character introductions because I need to draw a breath. So let's start. We'll do this in character keeper order. So Rich, you go first.
Hello, I'm Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. I am playing Edema or Etima. I think most people default to Edema, who uses the she, her pronouns. Edema is a Ratataki. And you're like, what is that? So in Star Wars, there was this Old Republic RPG MMO thing that came out, and they created this species called the Ratataki. They're these hyper-violent, gray-skinned individuals, and let's see, does that show? Okay, cool. So that's Edema. She's a Ratataki. She has had a bunch of lives because she's been played in a number of Star Wars games. Just recently from Hut Cartel, where she lost an eye and got a cybernetic replacement. She is her vices are stupor and pleasure. And her background is that she comes from the underworld and also heavy labor from the street. She has never left the underground. She was born on 1313. I imagine maybe once she took a vacation to like 900s level. She's only seen the sun through, if you're looking at Undish's background, yeah, there you go. That's where she has seen the sun. That's it. Edema is a sad individual, but she likes killing stormtroopers and stuff. There we go.
Yeah, and she is the gun hand, which is the equivalent of the cutter in standard blades. So she's brutal and violent. Next up, we have Boko.
That's me. Hi, I'm Mark. I use he or them pronouns. And today I'll be playing Bokash Padora, who is a Pantoran. I'm just a blue guy. I don't have the red eyes, so I'm not the other thing, which are bad guys, I guess. I'm playing our Hound, which is kind of a tracker, hunter, scout kind of guy. Boko also has spent, I think, his entire life, his entire life in the underground there. Used to work with street security as a cop, basically, but got hooked in with some underground folks and no longer does that. And he likes killing stormtroopers for money. That's pretty much it.
Very cool. So after that, we have Bria.
Hi, I'm Kai. I use they, them pronouns. I'm playing Bria, who uses she, her pronouns. She also goes by Besker on the streets. I took the noble and military backgrounds and came up with a child of a noble family that was eradicated by the Imperials and raised by the Mandalorians. She has since left them to raise her child out of their ways. And it's not just stormtroopers that she likes to kill. Any Imperial will do. And she has a stupor and obligation. Stupor, she likes to join Edema in. Obligation is her child, Valsi. And she has a stealth mode chosen. She has implants that allow her to become shadowy and undetectable by sensors for a few moments. And I already have 2 stress. So let's go.
Very nice. So now we get the first chance to hear about Matt's character, Morn.
I am playing Morn Omori, who is a Keldor refugee who has been here most of his life. The Keldor are those tall Plo Koon species, leathery skin and anti-ox masks, and they can survive in the dead of space for a short amount of time, which is pretty cool. And I think that survivability helps him in this horrible place. And he also uses his skills to help other people survive in this horrible place, or at least that's how he started his life here, was building, creating ventilators and repairing ventilators for other species that need them and for people who live in areas with really poor air quality. And he eventually, his skills got better. He moved on to other biotech, other cybernetics, other kinds of strange biotech work. And that eventually made him very valuable, even though he, his work isn't always to code, but he eventually, I think, started working with an important crime boss in the area. I'm thinking there was a crime boss in Atima's backstory called Arasha Ne, who has been assassinated. But so this could have been like a few years back in a different part of my life. And since then, I've been doing freelance work and been getting more and more caught up in some of my personal passion projects and experiments. I think my vice is weird. I think I rent out some laboratory space from somebody who has just a big co-op. And while I'm there, people who need money can pay, and we don't have to get into all the details of it. I'm not super into the body horror stuff, but I was reading the Perdido Street Station, and there's some inspiration from Isaac in those books where he just tries things out, because I'm working in that space. So yeah, that is more, I think. More.
Cool. And you are the Scrounger, which is the equivalent
Leech.
of the
Leech, right?
What it's called. Sorry.
It's the Leech, I think.
The Leech. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So you're good with tech, and you have picked the medic special ability. So you're good at healing people who need that.
Yeah, I was a little unsure because I'm both like a tech person and a bit of a medic person. And I guess I'm sure this will be useful. I figured it was the most faithful, but I'm also like Ion Pulse sounds just like really useful. So we only have a 3 off. So I don't know.
Medic is very useful because it means the whole crew will heal faster, and that is likely to come into play at some point.
It means Edom is basically invincible, I think. With Vigorous and Medic.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the introductions. I think we should, I should do a quick explanation of the job that you're currently on. Like I said, you've been tasked with disappearing an imperial bureaucrat called Mar Tybor. You have found out where he lives. He lives there with his husband. The husband has a secret apartment, possibly secret apartment. It's only in his name, in a different part of town. But you have figured that you can jump Mar somewhere between his job in the center of the imperial bureaucracy and his home. Both are located in the security sector or security subsector, SecSec, it's generally called. This is where the imperial bureaucracy is centered, as well as the Coruscant security forces, which are the cops, basically. This means that there will be street patrols and that sort of thing. But here in SecSec, they're generally lightly armed. They more use stunners and that sort of thing, rather than going around in heavy armor with blaster carbines and that sort of thing, because not much crime happens here, or at least not much crime that they feel they need to do anything about. I think we concluded that you figured out a spot where there's less traffic, less foot traffic, so you have a good spot to jump in. But exactly what happens, we'll see. And with that, I think it's time for us to do the engagement roll. And now I need to look at the rules for the engagement roll. So, for those who haven't played Blades before, I think, Mark, I think you have not played before, right? Matt, have you played before? You have? Yeah, cool. I'll just go through it anyway, because I need to remind myself. The engagement role basically replaces most of the planning and all the contingencies and all the cautious action up until something starts to happen. So the role tells us how well did you do until you encounter the first real obstacle. And this will be a number of dice. You start with 1 die for sheer luck, as it says, and then you get extra dice for major advantages, and you lose dice for major disadvantages. And I'll just go through the list and we'll see what applies. So, is this operation particularly bold or daring? I'm going to say yes, because you're jumping an Imperial in the middle of the security sector. That's definitely daring. So you have the 2 dice. Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? I don't think so. It seems pretty simple. You're going to grab him and get out of there, disappear him somewhere on the way. Doesn't sound too complicated. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? I don't think so, but if anyone wants to argue that it does, I'd be happy to hear it.
Weakest is a pretty strong term. but we are looking for a point when they are vulnerable and hitting them exactly at that point. So I think it's an edge case at best. I'm okay with your adjudication that it doesn't apply.
Yeah, I think vulnerability of the target. Yeah, it kind of does. He walks to and from work. That's kind of a, and he passes areas where there isn't that much people. I'll give you a die for that.
Yeah, I think I got that on the when I did the scout roll last time. There was a +1 effect. I'm not sure if that comes into that part of it or it's part of a later roll. But if it's
yeah, let's see.
+1 to find a delicate location for him, I'll take that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah,
Cool.
that should be enough to give you that. Cool.
Awesome.
So we're up to 3 dice. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular defenses or special preparations? No. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? So for this, I think you'll have to look at your friends if there's anything you think they can help you with.
I don't think that Betty the Beast Barlow is good for this kind of action. I don't really know if I want her to know that I do this kind of stuff.
No, I don't think so either. Are any enemies or rivals interfering with the operation? No, not really. Are there any other elements to consider? I don't think so. I mean, I could dock you 1 die because there's a lot of general security around, but I think we'll let that play into the situation instead. So you're rolling 3 dice. So one of you now will have to make this roll. I don't know who's taking point here. I guess we'll let them roll it.
That seems like an out of my job, probably.
Happy to take point. Always
Yeah.
happy to take point. All
So
right.
you're rolling 3 dice and taking the single highest one.
Dang it! I'm sorry. Let me find the safety and links.
Yeah,
There we
the
go.
link
That's where the
is
dice roller
in
is.
the safety and links tab. It's the
Yeah, I got it.
almost
I'm pulling it
first
up
one.
now.
I should hide.
All right. So a total of 3.
3 dice, yes.
That's a 5. Dang it! Looked like a 6 for a second. It's a 5.
Yeah, but a 5 is still decent. That means you will be in a risky position, which is the default. And I think the first obstacle that you're encountering. So I think this area where you've planned to jump in, it's a small park, which is kind of a luxury down here, but there's a small park. There's kind of a dome over it. And they have special lights and everything just to make the plants grow, because that's not a thing that naturally happens down here. But it's fairly open. It's not like completely enclosed. So you know that he passes through there, and when he comes out, he exits in through a different exit than most people do, because he's going in he's going in a different direction than most people who pass through here. But the first obstacle that you're encountering, that you know is here, is that there are patrols of security officers. So you know right now you know he's inside the park. He should be exiting at any any moment. You are placed. You are in a kind of an alleyway near where he's going to exit. I think, are all four of you there, or is someone somewhere else? You don't have to necessarily specify exactly where.
I'm probably nearby to help run interference, at least.
Yeah.
I think I'm waiting at the most reasonable escape route in case he somehow gets past Edema and Boko.
I think I'm nearby in case the guards need dealing. I have all sorts of chemicals in my bandolier and things like that. So
Cool.
Nice.
That reminds me, you should all also move the. Managed to move the tab around. You should all pick your load for this operation. You can pick between light, normal, and heavy. This determines how much equipment you're carrying. You don't have to decide what equipment you're carrying until you actually use it. Light load, that means you look like you're out on the streets as a normal person. With a normal load, you look like maybe a bodyguard, a security officer. You have kind of people can tell that you're carrying stuff. And with a heavy load, you look like you're loaded for bear, basically. You're definitely looking for trouble. So everyone pick their load. This is on the load section of the character sheet, just below the action checkmark boxes.
I've got a heavy load. I've got a very full, heavy leather apron, and I never look like a normal person. So I'm I'm trying not to stand in their eyesight or anything like that. But if it comes down to it, I may be, I'm especially conspicuous.
Yeah,
I
you
think I'm
probably
rolling.
snuck in here somewhere, some way, not just walk down the street. You'd probably have been stopped and asked some serious questions.
I'm a medic.
I'm probably
Yeah,
rolling
yeah.
pretty late, so.
Yeah, cool. So Etema, you're the one who's closest. You know that Mar is going to exit this little park dome. I think you can kind of see him moving towards the exit, but there's a street patrol of 3 security officers coming your way down the street. The street, you have the dome. It's kind of like a square in the middle of an area. There's a street passing where you know Mar will exit, and you're on the in an alley just across from where he's going to exit. But those security officers are in sight at this moment. But I think all, the way I understood it, all 4 of you can see what's going on here. So any of you can jump in to try to resolve this.
If Boko is nearby, I might mark needle dart gun and a use of my bandolier, and say to him, "You can't count on me to shoot this thing, but I think you could."
Are they street security patrol?
They're street security, but they're very lightly equipped. They have stunners and like shock wands. They don't have any real armor. They're in uniform, but you know, the people here, they don't like to see heavy armored cops around.
Yeah. I probably don't know them specifically, but I'm familiar with street tech.
Yeah.
Is it a bad idea to approach them and be like, "Hey, do you have a light or something?"
Probably not. This is a fairly cushy job. So these are like friendly guys mostly.
Yeah.
They're not the hard, tough, brutal street security you see in the poorer neighborhoods.
Cool. Yeah, I've got a little consort in me, so I think that's like if I see them coming, I'm gonna screen for edema and just walk up and be like, "Hey guys, nice night, right? Can I borrow a smoke? How's the treatment when you get off your shift? All that stuff. Just try to like give a look cover.
Yeah, you're trying to distract them, basically, keep them busy. Yeah, that to me that sounds like sway or consort. I'm not sure which what you're going for.
Yeah, I was thinking with consort.
Yeah, you're being friendly. You're one of them, kind of. You know, you know how to talk to them.
Mhm.
Cool. So now we get to roll some dice, but we need to check the rules first. So you are in a risky position. That's the default. I don't think there's any reason to change that at this point. This is probably standard effect. I don't think that's going to matter at this point. This probably won't set up a clock or anything, but in case there's a reduced effect for some reason. Then you get a chance to add some dice. You can add one die if someone else is assisting you. That means they spend one stress and they do something that helps you out in this situation. Is there anyone who wants to and can figure out a good way to help out?
And right now I'm only rolling one die, right, for the consort?
Yeah.
I'd be interested in looking at a devil's bargain, if that's a thing we can do here.
Absolutely. That's the other die you can get. You can get one die for someone helping you, and you get one die either for pushing yourself, which costs 2 stress, or getting a devil's bargain, which means you get a free die, except there's also some strings attached. One possible devil's bargain, and here I definitely want to hear from the other players if you have any ideas. One possible devil's bargain is that one of them actually recognizes you as a former officer.
Disgraced officer.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Maybe they don't click to that right away, but they definitely recognize you. There's not too many Pantoran, is that the?
Yeah, Pantoran.
Yeah, Pantoran officers. So they might recognize you from that.
Yeah, I'm happy to take that unless someone else has something fun.
That's great.
Cool. I'm for it.
I'm all in.
Yeah, then you're rolling 2 dice.
And taking the highest?
Yeah.
Cool. That is a 4 is the highest.
4 is the highest. And then we check the big colorful chart. Now, basically, risky position, a 4 or 5, you do it with a consequence. And consequences are typically harm, complications, reduced effect, or your position becomes desperate. I think here we have a complication. I'm going to say that, yeah, one of them kind of recognizes you, and he starts asking you some hey, didn't you work at station 65?
Yeah, station 65.
Station 65.
Do you know who's my enemy? You know Celine?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know Celine.
Yeah, she was my partner before, so we had a falling out, so I'm no longer there. No longer with the department. I'm a freelance now.
Oh yeah, she told me. That's
she hasn't gotten herself kicked out either, right? Great, that's good to hear.
No, she's still working. Yeah, interesting. So, but was there some? You got into trouble, right?
I had a difference of opinion about certain policies that the department had, and we parted on not the best terms.
Yeah, that
No
happens
gold watch for
sometimes.
me. Yeah. They treat you guys okay?
Yeah, for sure. So I think this is they're kind of now they're interested in talking to you, sort of gossiping about the stations. You're kind of tied up with them.
Cool.
That's your complication now.
Awesome.
But they are distracted. Mar is now exiting this little dome. So this is and he's kind of moving like like at an angle. They're distracted, so they don't notice him right now. So this is probably Etima's window to do her thing.
Sweet. I am gonna do my thing.
And how are you? What exactly is your thing in this situation?
I have a normal load. I'm currently looking at my. So, question. If I choose blaster, is it possible that blaster could be one capable of stun? It's okay if you don't think that fits.
I think, yeah, that's actually something I hadn't thought about. I think if you pick your fine weapon, you have a fine weapon option for your items to the left under your special abilities. You have some items that are specific to the gun hand.
Oh, right.
I think that would definitely come with a stun option. But I have to think. I don't think normal like blaster pistols have stun settings.
That sounds fine.
Another option is that you pick a large weapon. That could definitely be like a blaster carbine or something that could have a stun setting.
Cool. Those are great options. I appreciate it. I am going to choose the fine weapon that she has access to be a blaster with stun capabilities. And
yeah.
I think she's just going to roll right up on this guy, stun him, then drag his carcass. Well, not carcass yet. Drag his butt back to the shadows with her.
Yeah, cool. That sounds like skirmish to me.
That feels fair, especially since I'm not bad at that thing.
Yeah. You are in a risky position. Bonus dice is someone helping you. Are you pushing yourself? Do you want a devil's bargain? Otherwise, you're rolling your 2 dice.
Does anyone want to help? Which means you've got to spend a stress. Otherwise, I'll listen to a devil's bargain.
I'm glad to spend a stress.
Awesome. I'll take it. Cool. So that gives me a 3rd die.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
I figure, Morn, are you helping by distracting the target, or how are you helping?
Yeah, I think the way that I help is that I just walk past him, and I'm so conspicuous that he just like does that like full 360-degree turn to watch me walk past him, and then that's the moment.
If I could add,
that's great.
If I could add to that,
Please.
if you don't mind. Yeah. So the way I see it, like you're walking past him, he does the whole meme thing of looking back at the person, right? He's looking at you. He gets a blaster to the gut, right? You immediately come back up and grab his arm, and the two of you are gonna like weaken it, Bernie's him into the right. It's just like, oh, you look like you slipped here. Let me help you out.
Yeah, for sure. Nice. I'm very accustomed to transporting dead or nearly dead bodies, so I think it's a perfect scoop. I catch him as he falls, and then we move him off.
Great. That will be cool. 3 dice for me then.
That's 3 dice and 1 stress for Morn.
Yep. Here we go. Here comes the dice. Oh, that is a 6 I see before me.
Nice. On a 6, you do it. So yeah, he's distracted by Morn. You step up to him, put your blaster in his stomach, fire the stun, and he collapses. Both of you grab him, drag him into the alley. At this point, yeah, what's the next step?
I assume somebody's a getaway driver. Bria, are you our getaway person?
Perfect. Let's do that.
Yeah, you don't actually own a vehicle, but you can have acquired one through a flashback, for example, unless you're just going to hotwire something right here, right now.
I think a flashback's appropriate.
Yeah.
So maybe I did the whole, standing in front of a building thing and someone flips me their keys to go park their vehicle kind of thing. Or maybe I'm just really good at I'm really stealthy in a parking deck or something like that. Let's just go with that. And so there's someone that's knocked out in a parking deck somewhere. I've taken the keys and I've brought some sort of small, I don't know what people drive here, vehicle. I'm sure it floats.
Yeah, there's probably, some speeders, open speeders, that sort of thing. I think, is this, you want a vehicle that fits in here. I think this is an ordinary action for which you had easy opportunity. It's not difficult to get hold of a vehicle at this point. So that doesn't actually cost you any stress. It's not doesn't involve a downtime action, so there's no extra cost for that. This is just something you could have arranged a getaway vehicle. It's not complicated.
Do we want to go with a vehicle for all four of us, or do we want to just put him on a bike? And then that way, if the cameras are following us, you two went into the alley and I went out with him, right? Like,
Yeah, I think just the bike is good.
Yeah. All right.
So
A speeder
badass.
of some sort then.
Yeah, cool. A speeder bike. Yeah, excellent. So now you're just transporting him out of there. That's not super complicated, but you still need to transport an unconscious person out through the security sector.
Sure.
I think that requires some kind of roll.
Okay.
Do you have something in mind?
Well, Prowl allows me to move about unseen and traverse obstacles. But it also says climb, swim, run, jump, and tumble, which is more of a not on a speeder thing.
Yeah,
I think finesse says handle a vehicle.
finesse is handling vehicles.
Okay.
So that could definitely apply, but you could say, I mean, prowl, it's also about not being noticed. So I think prowl could apply if you want to go for that. If you're just focusing on trying to maintain the illusion that this is just an ordinary passenger, not an unconscious Imperial.
Normally, I would say finesse because I'd want to keep the body secured on the vehicle, and I'd want to keep the vehicle in control at all times. But I'm not sure that losing the body off the vehicle would be a bad thing for us. It wouldn't be the plan, but it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. So I'm just going to go with prowl then.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'll roll 2d6.
Yeah, you don't want any extra dice?
I don't. I mean,
No, it's fine. You can roll 2 dice. It's
yeah, I could trade a position for effect though, but that would make us desperate.
yeah, but desperate position is XP,
Right? Everybody wants XP, right? Right?
That means, I think what that means in this situation is that you're driving maybe a little bit faster and more aggressive. So you're trying to get out of here. It's riskier, but if you hit this roll, then you're out of the security sector. Otherwise, it might take longer. Does that sound fair?
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's what I want. All right, 2d6 desperate.
And you get a 6. Nice. So on a 6, you get to mark 1 XP for this is prowess, because you made a desperate roll on one of the prowess actions. On a 6, you do it. So how does it look when you're driving the unconscious Mar out of the security sector?
So what I imagine is like this is the beginning of the credit roll for the TV series, right? And I've got him on the bike. It's like one of those bikes from Return of the Jedi, right? Like they got in the forest, like one of those kind of speeder kind of vehicles, the way I'm seeing it in my head. And there's just huge amounts of traffic, just heavy traffic, and I'm zipping in between them. And every so often, as I pass a vehicle really closely, its license on the back, the plate, turns into the credit roll. Like this is the director's name. This is the and it's just like, because the lights are you got that light effect when you're like going past them really quickly. So we're just using the effects, and I'm just moving and moving. Whenever I get wherever we're taking him is when the episode title rolls up, and we start the show.
Awesome. So now you're out of the security sector with your target. The rest of you are still there. Bokosh, you're kind of entangled with these officers, and one of them says, "Hey, we get off shift in 10 minutes. We can go early. There's a bar over here. You wanna join us?"
Yeah, of course I do. They'll put me at the bar in the scene of the crime, at the time of the crime. Great. I have an alibi.
Cool. So you're leaving with them. Etema and Morn, you're still in this alleyway. You have to figure out. You have to get out of here. Is basically the thing. How do you plan to do that?
I just want to walk out. Morn, what do you think? Let's just go. We got here. Spin out and go.
It was very smooth. But
Probably as they're leading me into the bar, I kind of like look over my shoulder and be like, "It's clear," like and signal clear.
I will turn a few more heads on the way out, but
They can't handle your sexy.
I appreciate that. Okay. Split.
Yeah, you're just going to walk back to the foundry, basically. Walk out of the security sector. You are two non-humans, which is unusual here. It's not. There are plenty of non-humans on the streets, but not nearly as many as in the poorer neighborhoods. That makes you stick out a bit. And Morn is carrying a lot of stuff. Etema, it's clear. I mean, you have your blaster and that sort of thing. So this will require some kind of roll.
Sure. That seems appropriate.
How are you approaching this? I mean, are you like sneaking through the alleyways? Are you just walking down the street and trying to pretend like you belong here? How do you approach this?
I am not much of a sneaking person. I think the way that I would do it, unless there is gear available to me to help with this, but is use finesse in a way that's like subtle misdirection. Like I'm trying to like use the inconspicuous skill in Burning Wheel, basically, and just like, even though I am very conspicuous, but just like wait a few beats when it's right to walk, and like I'm kind of used to making myself unseen in that way.
I should mention that there are teamwork rules where you can do lead a group action. That's when a group is acting together. They're doing the same thing, but only one person rolls. Then they get to pay stress for. Oh, actually, let me check.
I think everybody rolls, and
Yeah,
then
everybody
the leader
rolls,
pays stress if you fail. I'm
Yeah.
more than happy to lead us out of here. I was the one with the big brash and bold, like, I got this, it's no problem. So you make your finesse roll, and if you blow it, I'll eat stress to help you out. That sounds awesome. We get to take the best of our two rolls, right?
That is true. You could go with prowl instead. I think this could work for both. You could probably use sway for this kind of misdirection as well, if you want to. I don't know your stats. I don't know what would be
Basically
work
one
best
die
for you.
total between us, no matter how we shake it. So I can push to get us to 2 if you want to prowl our way out. And just so we have 2 dice in the pool and less likely to cause you stress. But
I tell you what, I could help you. Well, no, go ahead, push for prowl, and then I'll roll as well.
cool.
Yeah, it's a team effort, so I'll stick with you.
So that's a 1 from Morn.
Sounds about right. Glad I paid 2 stress for
Edema,
that
you
one.
also roll 1 die, right?
I'm gonna eat some stress to push for this as well to get a second die. So
Cool.
I'm helping myself, so that's 2 stress.
Yep.
And here comes. It's one or the other, right? You spend stress, you don't get a devil's bargain, you can't double up.
That's correct. You can get one of those plus someone assisting you, but you can't get both pushing yourself and
All right.
double spark.
That's a 6.
Nice.
So I pay the stress for the failure. The 6 will carry us through.
Yep,
And I pay 1 stress because it's 1 fail that happened.
absolutely.
Cool. Just making sure I got it all clear. I took 3 stress for that, but I think there's a more in trying to skulk around that he maybe hits some garage, and I like grab it deftly out of the air and slide it over. And then there's a couple people who are paying attention to us. And so I just lean in and like put my arm and start kissing the side of his mask. And they're like, oh, a bunch of freaking weird alien people, and they're PDA, and like buys us enough chance to get out of there.
I love that a team of stealth is PDA. That's
Really
hilarious.
effective sometimes.
No one wants to see that. I will look in the other direction. I love it.
Probably a few people who react like that. Yeah, especially here. But yeah, that gets you out of there. That leaves Bokosh with the security officers at the bar. How do you disentangle yourself from that situation?
I think Bokosh actually doesn't drink or indulge in any sort of a spice or anything, and so I think his strategy is to keep buying rounds for people and steadily pour his shots or drinks on the floor or in a plant or something nearby, just like wait for them to get sloppy and then go to the bathroom and walk out.
Yeah, cool. That sounds like consort to me.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Cool.
And
Or finesse for like sleight of hand.
Could be. If you're trying to make it look like you're drinking, but you're not, then that could definitely be finesse.
I think it's more like I'm hanging out with the old guys again.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna push myself because this is probably not a super comfortable situation for me. So I'll take 2 stress for that die.
Yeah, that gives you 2 dice, I think.
2 dice, yeah. Let's see what happens. 5 is my top one.
5. So you do it, but there is a consequence. I think what happens is that a couple of them, there's 3 guys, right? 2 of them, they get a bit drunk, and they feel like, yeah, better go home, we got to work tomorrow, that sort of thing. But the last guy, he really wants to keep talking. He's really interested in the gossip. He's the one who knows Celine. So he's not going to let you get out of there without some more juicy gossip. He's willing to. He like, yeah, but you could come around to my place. You know, we can catch up for real. It's I live. It's close. It's close. We can. It's just a couple of blocks from here.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. I think along the way, like not only telling him whatever stuff about Celine, but probably making up some stuff, hoping that it gets back to her.
Nice. So what's the plan now? Are you just going to go with him, hang out, or
yeah, you know, I'm kind of interested in hanging out with this cop a little bit and seeing what happens with him, see what his place looks like.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so he brings you around to his place. It's not fancy, but it's, you know, it's one of the, and I mean, you have examples of buildings here behind me. It's one of these, it's a big square, dark block sort of thing. And he brings you up. It's a small windowless apartment, like most of the places here. It's a bit messy. He's clearly a bachelor. He doesn't keep things too tidy, but it's not like a complete mess. It's a decent place. And he brings out a bottle of something a little bit fancier, you know, not but it's still a hard drink. It's not wine or anything.
Yeah. And I think the ultimate, like, Boko's trying to like figure out how to. I think the ultimate play is feigning just being extremely drunk and kind of passing out and like, so let me sleep it off on your couch. I'll take care of myself. And then when he turns in, sneak out eventually.
Yeah. You can definitely try for that. Is that what you're going for?
I think so, yeah.
That sounds like sway, but maybe you want to go for something different because you're trying to you know, bluff or manipulate.
Yeah.
But you're not that great at sway.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's. I'm not sure what that would be.
I mean, you could just try to sneak out when he goes to the bathroom or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could
make a run for it.
Make a prowl for getting out when he's getting the liquor.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, let's do that. So stress, like, is stress something that you like want to keep low, or is taking another couple stress not a big deal?
You kind of, you don't want to have stress. If you max out your stress, then you're out of the scene, basically. So you don't want to keep around too much. There is a specific downtime action. When you indulge your vice, you get rid of stress. but you can overindulge if you roll too high. So actually, it might be better to have 4 stress than to have 2. It could be easier to get rid of. So it's not. I wouldn't say it's a big deal going from 4 to 2. With 2, you could just leave it and not indulge because you have a limited number of downtime actions, that sort of thing.
Cool. Yeah, I'll take the extra stress because again, I think, and this is probably a habit that Boko has, just leaning into awkward situations and then not knowing how to deal with it.
And then
so I'll
just
take
leaving.
the extra stress for the extra die for my prowl out of there. So that's 2 dice. Let's see what we get. That's a 3 and a 6.
A 6, you do it.
Yep.
Yeah, he's rummaging around in the kitchen for something, and you're right by the door. You can just slip out, and he doesn't notice until you're far enough away that he won't catch up to you.
Cool.
And since you're in a light load, and you know how to behave in this sort of area. No one's going to bother you on the way back. Cool. So now you're back at your lair, I assume, with your target. How do you actually disappear him? And is this when we have the discussion about the actual murder part of the murdering, maybe?
Yeah, I think this is a good point to have that discussion.
Yeah. I think it was Kai last time who mentioned that wanting to, at least at some point, digging into a bit what happens to someone when you're doing this as your job, basically. And I think we also want to talk a bit about how much we want to go into detail with the actual murder of a helpless person. Do we want to cut away and just see you, or talk about how you disposed of them, or do we want to actually have it on screen when you're murdering someone who can't fight back, basically?
I think if it's in the action, it's what happens. But in this case, I would say that Morn is very adept at disposing of and reusing bodies. One of my clever friend is an organ dealer. I have a lot of chemicals that could make it happen very smoothly and easily. And so I think I'm often the person that would make these kind of things disappear, but I'd like to hear from everyone else too.
I was thinking eel tanks, but I like your idea way better.
I mean, I wouldn't say that that's out of the question for Morn.
Eel tanks are less profitable. This sounds amazing. So to answer the question, I think murdering a helpless person on screen isn't super interesting to me. I also would counter gently, it's an Imperial. So Edema's thought process is not an innocent person. That said, be the player, not a thing. Like, to me, I kind of have a FX mentality for this game. FX being a channel in America where they have like hard PG-13 style shows and have a lot of deplorable characters. The Breaking Bads of the world would exist here, although that's not a FX show, but just to give a more popular context thing. To me, I have the mentality of like Sons of Anarchy. Sons of Anarchy definitely talks about murder, but if someone innocent is getting murdered, they're not going to show that on screen. It just, bad thing happens.
Yeah.
That's where I would prefer.
Yeah, Kai, you want to weigh in on this?
Yeah. I think the only time I'd want it to be anywhere close to being on screen, like I'm agreeing with everybody else, but if someone like a bystander got caught up in one of our jobs or whatever, like I would at least want us to have to like recognize that in the moment, like, oh God, we just killed this this person that was watching or whatever.
It shows like consequence. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, to like me too. I'm like agreeing. I kind of see Edema's mindset as there's a almost throwaway line in Reservoir Dogs. Did you kill anybody? Just cops. Yeah, but did you kill any people? That's Edema's line. And yeah, I would definitely see Edema being bothered by, especially if it's somebody that she could have been, you know, it could have been me if so. I'm with you on that, Kai.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think kind of, and in this situation, I don't think there's any point in having this on screen because you grabbed him and afterwards you're just talking about, yeah, we sold his organs. I mean, there's no reason to have it on screen. It could be different if it's kind of part of the action. I mean, if you're under time pressure, there's someone outside the door, you have to kill this person right now and get rid of them. That's a different situation. But
that's a situation I want to see at some point. Just so you understand. That sounds cool. Or you just set up a job we should have. But
cool.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So I think we're in agreement on this. We've gone a bit past the hour. I think we should have a break now, and we'll do the. Yeah. So now we get to see the results of your job. You're going to get paid, and maybe some not quite as nice things as getting paid will also happen. So first, you're going to get rep and creds. Rep is reputation. You need rep to increase the tier of your crew. You're currently tier 0. All other crews are at least tier 1. You're at the very, very bottom of the heap. You get rep, unless the job is kept completely quiet, nobody knows about it, you get rep, and this was not that quiet because at least some of you were spotted quite close up by some security officers. So you're going to get 2 rep plus 1 per tier higher the target is than you, and that means we need to check the factions and see he was part of the imperial bureaucracy, which is tier 6. So we actually get a ton of rep for this. You will get 8 rep. That nearly fills up your rep tracker. I'm going to check these now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you just need 4 more, and you can increase. Currently, you're at tier 0 with a weak hold. You first need to increase your hold to strong. That only costs rep, and then you can increase your tier. Once you have a strong hold, you can increase your tier to tier 1, but that costs both rep and creds, which is the monies.
And then you drop back down to weak, so you could be tier 1
Yeah.
weak, right?
Exactly. And you get creds. That's the money. I think this counts as a standard score. It was a fairly high value target, but it's not a huge job or anything. So that's 6 creds, but you also need to pay off the 1,000 knives because you're operating out of their turf. They're kind of the next step up on the ladder from you. So they take 1 cred. Actually, yeah, they take your tier plus 1 creds, which is 1. So you get 5 creds. Those can go to the crew. You can split them out among yourselves. But the crew, your stash, your vault, actually, your vault only holds a total of 4 creds, and you already have 1 there from the crew setup. So you have 5 creds to share among yourselves and the crew. How do you split those?
Well,
And then on a personal level, like our individual characters? What do we do with 1 cred?
You can put it into your personal stash. That will determine what your stash is, your own your retirement fund, basically. And it also, once you have, I think it's 10 in your stash, your life, what do you call it?
Lifestyle.
Sorry?
Lifestyle, I think.
Yeah, lifestyle. Your lifestyle increases. Right now, you're living on the streets, basically, or you're living out of your lair. But with enough creds in your stash, you can afford better stuff, basically, for your personal lifestyle. And it determines when you retire, if you retire, what is your lifestyle like after that.
Thing is, though, to spend money out of the stash, it's 2 for 1 to actually pull it out of stash, I think, or at least it is in default blades. So it's like an investment. Yeah, but a common way to spend creds is also to get extra downtime actions. Each extra downtime action costs 1 cred, and you only get 2 by default. And there's usually more stuff you want to do. Sometimes you will have to spend creds to replace equipment you've lost or that sort of thing, but that didn't happen during this job. So,
and you can also spend creds to buy extra downtime actions.
Yeah,
cool.
So one reasonable way to do it here would be to take 1 cred each for you, and 1 for the vault, 1 for the crew, basically.
I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
we don't have any extra costs, and I think that's usually the only reason we'd split differently if someone had to pay for something that was crew focused.
Yeah, for that.
So that means you tick 1 on your creds meter up on to the right in your character keepers, and I will tick 1 on your crew. So now you have 2 in the stash there. So that's the payoff. Then you also gain heat. This is how much heat you have, how interested parties are in finding you. A lot of heat. If you get a lot of heat without getting rid of it, this will increase your wanted level. And that means things are really getting hot. That means they're looking to convict someone of the things you have done. So heat, you gain heat, a base level of heat, depending on the nature of your operation. This could be smooth and quiet, low exposure, or contained, standard exposure, loud and chaotic, high exposure, or wild, devastating exposure. I think the 2 highest levels there are out. This was definitely not one of those. I think you could argue that this was smooth and quiet, low exposure. There was no one saw any violence. There was just a person disappeared, that sort of thing. So I think that's actually very, very reasonable. You didn't even have to kill anyone else. Then you get +1 heat if the target is high profile or well connected. I think this guy is actually well connected. He is hooked up into this stay behind organization, that sort of thing. So that's 1 heat. There's +1 heat if the action happened on hostile turf. I think that definitely applies here. This was in the security sector. They do not like you to the extent that they know that you exist. So that's a total of 2 heat. You're not at war with another faction. Killing was involved by you or someone else. I don't remember. Actually, you should have had an extra die on the engagement roll from your special ability.
Yep, I realized that when I popped over to our tab. I was like, oh man. But I said, well, we did fine, and I'll remember it next time.
Yeah. So that is a total of 4 heat. 1 for the connected target, 1 for on hostile turf, 2 for murder or killing was involved. So you get 4 heat. Does everyone think that sounds fair, or have I missed something or done something wrong there?
That's great.
Cool. So I will put 4 heat on you. That's still plenty. You need 6 more to increase your wanted level. It's fine. It's fine. No worries. And then we get to the entanglements. But there you roll a number of dice equal to your wanted level, and your wanted level is currently 0. I think you start at 0, right? So that means there are no entanglements. It's fine. Nobody's worried about what you're doing.
Is it 1 die per level or 1 plus 1 die per level?
Ooh, I have to check. The way I've written it, it's a number of dice equal to your wanted level, but I should check.
I'm on the Blades, and I've got the PDF for the player kit, and it says after the payoff, roll dice equal to your wanted level. So we're wanted 0, so we should be golden.
I believe the way that actually works.
Over.
I believe that actually the way that actually works, rules is written is when you roll 0 dice, you roll 2 and take the lowest. So
That's a good point. That's right.
That's
there
true,
you go.
that's true.
Good call.
That's why
Good
I was
catch,
thinking it was
man.
2 dice. That's why I was thinking it was 2 dice.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
so it'll be no problem.
So who wants to roll for entanglements?
I'll do it.
Yep. So you're rolling 2 dice and taking the lowest. That's a 2. That's good. And your heat is 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's 4 or 5. Then it's gang trouble or questioning. You don't have any gangs or cohorts. So I think questioning. Yeah. Corsac picks up an NPC from your crew or one of your contacts for questioning. So this is probably Lydra, your contact. This could be related to the job you've just done, or it could be for some other reason. But they been picked up for questioning. You can either pay off Corsac with 2 creds, because if they get some money, they're perfectly willing to look the other way. Or you make a fortune roll to see how much they talk. Lydra is deep into the criminal world, but they're not willing to take any amount. I mean, they're arranging murders of Imperials. So they are pretty tough. I think I'd give them 4 dice. Actually, it's 3 dice or 4 dice for someone. It's 2 dice for a normal person, 3 dice or 4 dice for someone who's more involved in criminal stuff. 1 die or 0 die for someone who has reasons to talk. I think I put them at 4 dice. That means we would roll 4 dice, take the highest. On a 6, nothing happens. For a 5, you get +1 heat. 1 to 3, you get +2 heat. So it's either taking that risk or you pay off Corsac with 2 creds.
I'm okay taking the roll. Other folks are.
Okay, taking the role mechanically, but also it does kind of hurt to give over our crew contact to Imperial questioning.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like we don't look very professional if like on our first job.
Yeah,
She might be used to it though. she's a usual suspect probably.
I think Warren would be on your side, but yeah.
just so it's, I don't know if this affects her. Adam is more than happy to give up her 1 cred to pay off. We could take the other one out of the crew money.
Mm-hmm.
So I have something I want to do. I want to later on. So I'm willing to pay my cred for the 2 cred. What I want to do is I want to take his credentials and like drain his bank accounts and make it look like he's just left, like he's just taken the money and run.
Yeah.
Which would put that money into my pocket. So that, if y'all will give me that, then I will.
Yeah.
I'll put my credit in.
I have to figure out. I think. There's not actually a downtime action for getting creds. I think.
There's a part-time
the way
job.
I think we could do this is we set it up as maybe acquire an asset or a long-term project where you would get some money into your stash or something
Oh, I see.
of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah. Long-term project sounds good. Like it's not going to be done in a day.
Yeah.
If I'm going to make this paper trail look like he's left the sector, then it's going to take a while. But I can continue to funnel funds during that. So yeah, I'll do a long-term project.
I will say that
but-
usually I think all those contingencies are wrapped up in the post-score stuff. So like the heat that we get is because of how that happens. And I guess it could be good for story and narrative purposes, but I think the idea is that like that's just kind of all handled by how that does its thing. And also I wanted to say if we are going to pay them, I think it's fine to just spend the crew cred. Y'all will have to spend your one. We got 2 sitting in the bank, so
yeah, that's cool.
I appreciate that you're as a character thing, you're both down to do that, but it's nice to have 1 cred on hand in case you need to bump anything up.
Sure. Okay, Rich, how do you feel?
Yeah. So we'll spend the 2 crew cred to pay them off and get her out. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Just ruined our profits for getting picked up.
Could we say that we pay the creds like when they come snooping around and they never even get her involved? That way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like that. That gives her some more agency. That's really cool. Good suggestion.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you hear, maybe Bokosh hears through his Corsec contacts that we're looking for this this Lydra person. Do you know anything? And you can arrange to have some money change hands to make them look the other way. Or look somewhere else. It doesn't have to be that you're paying them to not do it. It could just be that they never find out. They go bother someone else.
Sweet.
Okay. Yeah. So that takes care of the direct fallout of the job, which means we go into downtime actions. So during downtime, you each get 2 downtime actions for free. You can spend creds to get extra downtime actions. You can also spend rep to get extra downtime actions. That represents that you're laying low for a longer period of time. People start to wonder if you're still working, that sort of thing. You lose respect if you're not doing your job, basically. So the downtime actions are acquire asset. This means you're getting something ready for a job you might do later. We should probably talk about what job you want to take on next as well. But that means you're arranging for a service or an item that you'll have limited use of. So it's not a permanent part of your what you have, but it's a temporary thing. Long-term project is kind of a generic thing when you're working on something that will take a while. That's not just a single action. Recover is to recover from actual physical injury, which none of you currently have, so that's not relevant right now. Reduce heat. That's when you're trying to reduce heat on your crew. You can train to gain XP. We should actually go through and check your XP as well. Completely forgot about that. But you can gain extra XP by spending downtime actions, and you can indulge your vice to get rid of stress. So I think we should do your XP first, the ones you get from the job. I think these per job or are these per session? Actually, it's actually per session, right? So we shouldn't do that now. Yeah, that's the end of each session. Okay, so we don't need to do that right now, and it's the same thing for the crew, I believe. The crew also gets XP, which you use to get improvements for the crew, upgrades and that sort of thing. So Kai, Bria wanted to work on this long-term project of siphoning funds from Mars accounts. There is the complication that he's married, but you can absolutely start working on that. Try to make it seem you wanted to make it seem like he's left Coruscant, maybe.
So let me throw out a thing, because I don't want to speak for you, Kai, but I think I heard that there was a twofold in that Bria wanted to reduce heat on us by making it look like the guy took off, and also, hey, I want to get a little bit of money. So you could reinterpret that as the reduce heat if you want it. That doesn't matter. I just want to throw that out.
I mean, I can make my 2 actions reduce heat and long-term project. And then the projects for money, and then the
reduce heat for the forced trail that he's bought a ticket somewhere and that sort of thing.
Actually, what I could do is to just go ahead and get it done with. I could basically say that those funds become an asset for us, and like get us a vehicle or a service or something for something going forward. So I can do the acquire asset and reduce heat, and I think that would like wrap it all up and keep it from stringing along for too long.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you can spend this money to buy something that you can then steal, or that's probably easier to hide than if you're transferring the money actually to your own account or to somewhere where you can get your hands on it. That's probably easier to track. But if you're buying something and that thing gets lost and now you have it, that's easier to hide probably.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to get us a vehicle and reduce heat.
Yeah, cool. Let's start with the reduce heat, since that's simpler. So we already know what you're doing. You're creating a false paper trail, that sort of thing.
Yes.
So what action do you want to roll for that?
Study.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're working with documents, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Or is it survey? No, I think it's study. I think it's the closest one. All right. So according to the rules tab, let's see here. Describe what you're doing to reduce heat on your crew. Roll an action, then reduce heat according to the result. There's nothing that happens bad if I fail on this, so that's good.
No, this is just no, you just roll an action. I don't believe this is an action roll. So there's no, I don't think there's any risk of complications or that sort of thing. The roll is just to determine how much heat.
Whoa, I got a 6.
Nice. A 6 is 3 heat. You have created a very convincing paper trail here. So that brings you down.
Go ahead.
Oh, that brings you down to 1 heat. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I probably would have wanted that for the acquire asset roll. But here we go with the acquire asset. Oh, I need to let's see here.
Yeah. What kind of vehicle are you looking for?
Something that could take all three of us someplace.
There's 4 of you.
All 4 of us someplace.
So like maybe some kind of you could get a speeder, like sort of like the one Luke has in or Luke and Ben uses in New Hope, or you could have some other. I mean, there are hundreds of different of Star Wars vehicles, but
can we say that like it's whatever's necessary for the next job, and we can get to the next job and define it there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So I have to roll tier, which means I roll 2 and take the worst.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good I am at this point. Oh. All right. Wow. 5. A 6 and a 5 gives us a 5. I can't believe it. But
nice.
I still think that's a tier 0.
Wow.
Yeah, it's your tier, so it's tier 0. It's not nothing nice or fancy or that works particularly well, but it is a vehicle.
Right. All right. So whatever we need for our next mission, that's what we've got.
Yeah, cool. Does anyone else have any ideas for their downtime actions?
Indulge Vice.
Yeah. I see some nods from Mark there. Do you want to do this together, maybe?
I'm trying to figure out still what my weird vice is. I haven't come up with anything that I like yet, but I like that. I think probably my vice is I'm just gonna go with the gambling for starters.
So maybe I'm just throwing this out here. Maybe Etma, you're sparring with the Beast before one of her big matches, and Bokash is putting a bet on the match.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I think probably my gambling is what got me drawn into the underworld in the first place. Probably owed someone some money, and then they had me do a favor for them as a cop, and that snowballed and turned bad.
Somehow that spiraled out of control. Who could have guessed?
Yeah.
So
doesn't normally
happen
that way.
Who runs shock boxing around here in the foundry?
Wow, that is a really cool question. And that isn't free to find, right? So we just come up with an NPC who's doing the thing.
Yeah, sure. You could pick one of the NPC factions. It could just be an individual who is affiliated with any particular gang.
How do you feel about Skirbo the Hutt, who is independent, working outside the cartel?
I feel Rich feels like that's incredible, and I have nothing else. Edema has weird feelings about Hutts, but but yeah, it's not really up to her who runs the place. So I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, like that they might have like their involvement with me was like helping them climb a little bit. So I feel like that's a good independent Hutt. I'm for that.
Yes. Good call.
Yeah, but also terrible.
It's the best bad. I love it.
I have added them to the various scoundrels. I haven't put in a picture in yet, so if someone has a good Hutt pick, go for it. Oh, actually, I forgot one part of the Fallout, which maybe I haven't added to the... Did I miss to put that in? Yeah, because you should also get some status changes, I believe. I think that's part of the usual. Yeah, let's do that now. You did this job for the Rebel Alliance. This is the standard, the upstanding Rebel Alliance, not the weird side factions. So you get +1 status with them. And the target was the Imperial bureaucracy, so you get -1 status with them. No one else was really involved or affected by this. So yeah, actually, should probably add that stay behind imperial organization. Maybe there's someone else shows up that you will have a negative status with. But they're probably not at all influential or important. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Nothing bad will happen.
Good.
I trust
okay.
you, GM. That sounds great, MC.
Yeah, trust me, I'm the GM. I would never lie to you. I would never try to falsely assure you that everything is fine when it isn't. What kind of GM would do that? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you want to indulge your vice. So what is this? What's this shock boxing place look like? You're muted, Rich. If you're
Yep, I realized that as soon as I made noise. So I think that I'm gonna pull a little bit from season 2 of Mandalorian, where they actually show like the Gamorrean up on in a ring. So even though this is 1313, it's a hut, and this is how he makes his money. There's gambling, so there's enough money going on that the arena itself is really nice and pristine. But so, and we're betting. So this is it's like a non-card match kind of training thing. So nothing's on the line for the beast, but I'm supposed to go full tilt because she needs to be ready for the next match. And yeah, I like losing to Betty. I really do. I don't tell her that. She thinks that I'm always trying to win. But yeah, I think that's what it looks like. So we've got a do we want to go with like the square boxing ring or like octagonal like an MMA? Square?
Yeah, let's make an octagon. I think I'll have a fun.
Cool. So it's like an octagon, and then there are rows or aisles that head up on each point, and then this so the seating is all at these weird triangles. And of course, there are people who get to sit at the very tip of the triangle, and they're like right there in front of it.
Nice. So is this a full house or?
I think it's one of those. I'm going to make an analogy, but I'm just going to do it. Early innings of a spring training game crowd. So like the people haven't really shown up because this is low card. Like this isn't even nothing's on, no stakes yet. So the people who really care aren't here yet.
Yeah. Cool. So it's a sparse crowd, but there's some people there. Now you get to roll to reduce stress, and I need to remind myself. You roll dice according to your lowest attribute, and your attributes are insight, prowess, resolve. The value for those is the number of ticks in the gray. So Etema, you get to roll 2 dice.
Yep, because I have a 2, 2, and 2. I'm all balanced all the time.
And
Boko rolls 1 die. Yeah. And the amount of stress you lose is the highest die result.
Hey. 5.
Yeah, that means you overindulge.
Yeah.
But now you roll 2 dice. I think you should only roll 1, right? Boko.
Oh, for
you only
I roll
have.
2? Oh, sorry, I rolled 2 dice. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll take the first one though. That was the 5. So.
Yeah. Okay. And Rich, you rolled a 4 as your highest.
I overindulged as well.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So you both clear all your stress. That's the good part. But when you overindulge, you get to choose from one of 4 things. You can attract trouble. That means you roll or pick an additional entanglement, or we roll or I pick, I think. You can brag about your exploits. That gives you +2 heat. You can become tapped. Your vice purveyor cuts you off. You have to find some new place to indulge this vice. Or you can be lost. I don't think that's likely to apply here, but that means your character vanishes for a few weeks. You play a different character until they show up again. When they come back, they have also healed any harm because they've taken the time to rest up. But I think that one's unlikely to apply in this case.
I think I know what my entanglement can be. The cooperation, a +3 satisfaction, asks you for a favor. So I think
you don't actually have a +3 status.
Or what would be a? Oh, sorry. Yeah. I was looking at tier instead of status. Then never mind.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you want a minute more to look, Mark? Because I have.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
And Undish, I don't know how much like narrative do you like in this, but so tweak it if you like.
No,
but
go ahead.
I kind of imagine that Edema does a thing. Beast gets a good solid workout. Edema takes a bunch of bruises, gets her nose broken. She loves it. And on her way out, the quasi major domo for the hut mocks her fighting skill, and so she beats the living hell out of him. Yeah, it just tweaked her at some point, and so I am choosing tapped. Your current purveyor cuts her off. She's no longer allowed in the shock boxing ring, and she's gonna have to find a new source for her vice of getting that done. That's bad.
That works great because that's also what I was looking at, and probably I lose. No, I probably lose a bunch and then win it back, and then they're like, "This is no, you're done here. We're here to make money, not lose money on losers like you. You and your weird friend get out of here. Never come back." So we'll have to find a new place to gamble.
Yeah, maybe they take Etma's behavior as an excuse to bar you as well.
Yeah, I saw you
and
two come in
too,
together.
You person who just won a lot of credits off of us. You get out too.
Yeah, I broke even, but to them that's no good.
Yeah. Cool. So that's your indulged vice. Matt, I think you're. Do you want to wait, or do you want to do one of your downtime actions?
I'm thinking about it. It would help in some ways to know a little bit more about our next mission. I was also thinking that I am a crafty person and I would love to do modifications to anyone's gear if they have any ideas. Like, I know Edema has a cybernetic eye. I'm sure everyone's got weapons and stuff. I can hopefully do a long-term project to finish something cool in time for our last session or even the next one. I also could start a little crafting project to make a comms scrambler, something that could make it easier for us to operate on. I think that's pretty applicable to anything we could end up doing. So those are some ideas.
Well, let's say this then. We're up on the hour, so I think we could take a break. I could figure out what job offers you have. You can pick one, and then we can go from there. Do you have any ideas for kinds of jobs you're looking for? Is there some particular faction you want to do a job for, or something like that? Someone you're like going asking around. Do you have anything for us, or that sort of thing?
I would say that I would like to, just as like a wishes moment, I'd like to see a lot of the more of the like the feeling of 1313 and maybe do an infiltration mission and really just get into the gritty nastiness of it. But I don't have any strong feelings otherwise.
Cool.
I do want to see
Zory Bliss, the
Hmm,
leader of
okay.
leader of the Noon Minox, a spy stealing gang. So, you know, if someone isn't paying for their bills or whatever, they're behind on payments, maybe they need a leg broken or something like that. Except it's always going to be broken for the rest of their life.
So broken.
Cool, cool. So you want to do a job for her, or do you want to have a contract on her?
I just want to see her in a scene.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Like that picture. Have you seen it? Have you seen it, Matt? Have you like
Rules so hard. It's
Yeah, it's
amazing.
an amazing picture.
It's really cool.
cool.
Moon Minox, so good.
Yeah, I'm into those two suggestions. I want to add more because then that many permutations gets to be a lot. So
Yep, super for it.
Cool. So let's say until. Yeah. So you have 3 jobs to choose from. And I don't think we'll go into details about how you get the job and that sort of thing before you've decided which one you want to do. Then we can play that out a little bit. But you have 3 offers. Maxa Nos of Maxa's Free Rebels, who is this more aggressive, I don't want to say fanatical, but you know, more militant rebel faction. She is planning on hitting one of the street sec stations, Station 65, actually, where Bokosh used to work. And she needs someone or some people to get the security codes or some other way to get in. They have the manpower, they have the firepower, but they need some way to get in. They want you to arrange that. So it's not an assassination necessarily. I mean, you can kill some people if you want to. She doesn't care, but she wants you to arrange for a way to them to get into the station. So that's one job. And then Zory Bliss, she's head of the Moon Minox. They deal spice, and there's a competitor who has started to move in. It's the Jurgos Express Delivery, or one of their delivery people is dealing spice in her area, and she can't have that. You need to make an example of them. And this is not a disappearance. This is sending a signal to her competitors that no one else should deal there. And then there's some nobody from the people who live here in the foundry who is looking for someone to take care of a street sex sergeant who has been causing trouble, some kind of trouble. And they want to get rid of them. They don't have much money to pay with, but you know, it's a good deed. So you may want to look into that anyway. Is there anyone? Which of those is grabbing you?
I'm happy to help out with that Section 65 job for sure.
yeah, you just want to kill the guy, because I'm sure Edema would joke. You just want to kill the guy you had to hang out with. Little guilt,
yeah.
right? Little guilt. Did you get too close? Now you got to kill him.
I know he's got an apartment that'll be free if he goes missing.
Yeah, he's
looking for
not
him.
working there. He's working in SecSec. This is here in the foundry.
Oh,
Oh,
dang.
okay, yeah.
Well, Edema will still make the joke, even if she's dead wrong.
Yep.
I think both
you
1 and
used
2
to-
are good.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Andres.
Or did you used to? Or my intention was that it's a place here in the foundry. Maybe you didn't work there. I think, or did you work in SecSec?
I worked in street sec, sorry.
Yeah. So, but maybe you were probably stationed there at some point. So you know where it is.
Yeah, 1 or 2 is great. Either one.
I wish we could do 1 and 2 like at the same time. But
Not at the same time. I want to do them both, though.
one job at a time, I think. But I mean, the option will still be there. I mean, this dealer will still be around probably if no one else takes care of them. So
Yeah, if we make mayhem at the station and tie up the street sec, then that would provide us a window to make an example of some goons.
Yeah.
We got a new car. We just drive over the guy.
or get them arrested so when they hit the police station, they get killed there.
let's not make this too complicated.
Overly complicated, contingent on many factors.
Well, we just
Yeah,
lose a
exactly.
die. How bad's that?
Yeah. What could go wrong?
Do we want to have a call sign that we leave so that people know our work? Like for in terms of our rep?
Does that up our rep and increase our heat? That's fascinating.
Your rep is professional,
wet
right?
bandits.
Or yeah, your reputation is professional.
Professional and egotistical. How about that? That's a new one.
Narcissistic.
Narcissistic, yeah. We love this. I love this job. Yeah, I'm into 1 and 2. I like 1 because it'd be fun to explore a little bit of Bokosh's life, and get some
Wait,
of that.
two is Bokosh's thing. 1 is Max's
No,
Rebels.
Zory Bliss.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my brain flipped them then.
All good. Yeah, I'm easy. We don't have to decide now. It's just good to know what's on the table for the actions that I'm taking as well.
I'd say we go with Max's Rebel because Adam has the hots for Maxa, and also it goes into Bokosh's backstory. So
Yeah, sounds good to me.
maybe Rich has the hots for Max. I don't know. Who even knows?
I know what
Everyone
you're
good with
talking
that?
about, Rich. Yeah, that sounds cool. That sounds great. That would make a comm scrambler very useful. If I could either acquire an asset, I don't know if I could bang out a long-term project to make it a permanent thing that we have in time for the next mission, unless I spend my 2 downtime actions and my coin on it. But I don't think even 1 coin would be enough. I think I need more coin than that. So, because that's probably a pretty nice thing to have. Does anyone want like a grappling hook on their weapon or something, or like a mod for plus effect or something? If you at some point are daydreaming about having a cool thing that would be hard to get otherwise, just let me know and I will
Edna
hook it up
is
for you.
more than happy to have you tear open her eye anytime you want to take a look at it.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool scene. I like that. I don't know what I would do for you mechanically. Some kind of optical sight for long range effectiveness or something.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Nice.
That's cool.
I'm also up for converting, doing a suppressor or some other sort of thing on a weapon to make me more less over
stealthy.
when I blast people. Yeah.
Right. So
I like
what-
the eye is really awesome.
yeah, what do you think for a long-term project? 6-8, what are we thinking for something like that?
What exactly is it you're trying to do?
That's a great question. Do we want night vision? Do we want Edema? Do you have a wish list? I think I'm sitting you down in the chair and I'm like, so here's the specials.
Oh, these all look good. Just, tear in and give me all the. So Rich will say, as I try to think about what would be some like cyber. I'm like quickly trying to pull up my Street Samurai catalog.
Just eat the menu.
I mean, you can take a look at any of your equipment and make it, you can italicize it. That way it won't count as load, right? Like, I don't know, like the night vision goggles are like a load item that you have to take. But if you enhanced your eye to have night vision, then it would just be
Night vision's
italicized.
dope. You are so
Mhm.
smart, guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
super good.
that thing.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool.
So yeah,
let's see. So basically, this would add equipment option for Etema to have night vision as a no weight or no load item.
Exactly what I
Cool.
was trying to say. Thank you.
I think that sounds like 6 o'clock. I don't want to make it too difficult. It's a useful thing, but it's not, it's not world shattering. So 6 feels right to me.
Great.
And I think, oh, did I get rid of the? Yeah, I don't have the preset clocks anymore. Let's add a tab maybe. Or do we put this on?
You can put it in notes or
to
something.
make space somewhere? Yeah, you could do it in the notes. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So
somewhere.
we're low on anesthetic these days, so you're gonna want to bite down on this.
Oh yeah, no, save the anesthetic for the others. I don't need it.
Wow. Such a altruistic soul. And then I just like lean over you. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a tinker roll to work on this clock here. Have to ask, so I have medic, which says you can tinker with blood, bones, and implants to treat wounds or stabilize the dying. That seems like it is more like allows me to do healing stuff, but I'm just wondering if it would affect anything here.
Let's see. I mean, that's just allowing you to do things.
Yeah.
So, and that I think you would need that to do this thing that you're doing.
Yes.
So that basically gives you permission to do this.
Great. I'm gonna go ahead and roll 2d6.
Yep.
That is a 6. So I think that's 3 pieces and it crits 5. Is that how it works?
I think so, yeah. Long-term project, the 6 is 3 ticks, yeah. So you're halfway there.
All right, let's do it again. Let's get this done. Here goes. Oh, 2, that's so rough. If it was a 4 or 5, I could just spend a coin to push it up. What to do? So
that's just 1 more tick then.
You can spend a coin to do it again.
Yeah, so doing it again would give me a decent chance of finishing it. I'm still going to need a 4 or 5.
Don't burn a coin. I mean, Rich is saying don't burn a coin, but it's up to you. Whatever makes you excited.
I mean, I'm looking at the Andrew's background of what this place looks like, and I feel like having night vision is going to be a big deal. So for someone who's almost never seen the sun in her life, let's do this. I'm going to spend a coin, and we're going to roll this one more time.
Come on, dice, be good.
That's a 4, so it's 2 ticks.
Nice. It is done.
Wow.
I think I'm like working obsessively for a while, and I don't know if you go into like a meditative trance or whatever. It takes quite a while, but I think after a while it's like, yeah, we could stop and rest for a while, but I start getting that like hyper focus thing where I'm like, the passion takes over, and I start like using up materials that I could use for other things, and like I think that's where the coin comes in. Is I'm just like I'm burning the candle at both ends or whatever they say. And I think also the workshop that I'm in, like I'm renting out space from somebody else, and I'm like paying extra to keep the power on for later into the night so I can just like stay here and finish this. I'm like, we're gonna need this to walk home by the time we're done here. But cool. That's me.
Yeah, so Rich, you can add that to your character sheet in some way. I think we'll just actually let me do this.
Can add a line to the items.
Yeah, it's.
So I have night sight goggles on my character sheet. I don't know if anybody else has that in their items list.
No, not everyone gets that. It's
okay.
The items, the gray items are specific to the playbook.
Oh. Got it.
exclusive.
I added
dope.
it to. You can change the name to whatever you think. So that was Morn's Downtime Actions. Etema and Boko each have one more.
I think I would also like to start a long-term project. And that is going to be getting dirt on Celine, because I reckon she's the one who got me eventually or ultimately fired. I'm sure she's dirty, so I think that's a long-term project for me, is building some revenge against her.
Cool. So are you looking just to get her into a bit of trouble, get her fired, something more serious?
I think the ultimate goal is to get evidence that she is dirty, and then I can either use that or give it to someone.
So that she gets into real trouble. It's not just we think we suspect you're dirty, we're going to get rid of you, that sort of thing.
Yeah, finding something concrete.
Yeah, I would say that's an 8. An 8 tick
sure.
clock. So how do you do this? How do you go about it now that you're starting out?
So I think I'll lean on my survey first, and just like try to do a little bit of stalking first off, and see if I can see like who she's hanging out with now, if she's talking to anyone, all that stuff. Some surveillance, not stalking, surveillance.
Yeah,
One of
absolutely.
those S words. Yeah.
That works absolutely. So that's 2 dice.
2 dice. Get that 2 dice back. Cool. Top die is a 6. Low die is a
Nice.
1.
So that's 3 ticks.
Cool. That's 3 out of 8.
Nice. And Etema, you have one more action.
Yeah, so I think knowing that we're going to do this Max's Rebels job, I think acquire assets seems interesting. She's not currently in a long-term project kind of mood, and none of the others. I don't need to reduce heat because Bria did such a good job. Cool. So acquire asset. I'm not sure what asset, because we already have a speeder.
Could we maybe could I roll a quick gather information about this sort of security system to maybe I have contacts who work in that world. Maybe I guess I don't really have a contact that helps me with that. I have an organs contact.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
have a security expert.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, maybe Bria and Edema work together, and Edema tries to acquire some like level 1, get us in the door type effort towards Moxa's Rebels job. Yeah? Does that work? Okay. So we're rolling the cruise tier, which is 0, so I'm rolling 2d6. And that is a 1. You take the worst of the 2, so that is terrible.
Yeah.
Very sorry.
So that gets you tier -1. I'm not sure if tier 0 is the lowest here, but what you get is basically you get a one-time lock scrambler, so you can get through one door one time. That's what it's going to do for you, and it's probably not going to trigger the alarm, but who knows?
Oh, fortune rolls. Great.
But it'll get you through a door.
Oh, it's 2 creds to bump the quality. Yeah, that's pricey.
Cool. Lock Scrambler sounds awesome.
So, like you and I were going to meet Frake, a security expert who's on my character sheet. He is Devaronian.
Oh, cool.
Is what
The like devil guys. Yeah.
yeah. And you know, we're on our way. So first of all, like I give you like a spice pouch that'll like help with the pain for your eye or whatever. Like that's just her way of being like friendly.
Aw.
I don't know. Like,
Thanks.
yeah. And I guess maybe when we get in there to deal with Frake, maybe he's busy or we say the wrong thing and he just gives us the lowest quality shit that he has. I don't know. I'm just like, maybe I just say the wrong, you know, I'm a noble. Maybe I'm just being arrogant at some point during it. Not enough to make him like a red check mark or whatever, but enough for him to be like, okay, well, you're a paying customer. You can pay for this piece of crap and get the hell out of my shop. So that's what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Based off the role.
It's just the way you look around the room when you enter, and he pegs you as okay, this this sort of person, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, you know, just the way I talk.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and I think Edema like does the spice while you're there.
Sure.
Yeah, that's always a good way to build a positive relationship with someone. Do drugs in their place of business. That's
yeah. We got inferior stuff, so it all
Yeah.
balances out.
Cool.
So we have about half an hour more time. I figure we do the preliminaries with you gathering information, that sort of thing, trying to figure out how you want to do this job, get all the stuff you need, and you set the plan, and then we do the engagement roll next time, or maybe we do the engagement roll now and I can figure things out. We'll see how far we get. I'd like to leave a little bit of time for stars and wishes as well. But I think we should have time for preparing for the score. So general information. Station 65 is it's one of those blocky buildings. It's like 4 stories, square. It's not concrete because it's something else. It's steelcrete or whatever it's called in Star Wars. I never remember.
I think the term I've heard is Duracrete.
Duracrete, yeah. Steelcrete is from somewhere else probably. But yeah, Duracrete. It's got small windows. There's one main door that goes into like processing. They don't really have a like visitors here. This is just where they operate out of and keep people arrested temporarily. It's not long term. It's not like a proper jail. There's a vehicle exit in the back, like up from the basement. And there's a couple of side doors for like service, and they want probably a spare way out in case something happens. That's what you know from the outside. Bokosh, you have worked here, or at least in a similar place, so you know the general layout. Bottom floor that's processing area and holding cells. Basement is vehicles, maybe a firing range, that sort of thing. Because these people need to practice. They're not naturally apt at this like the stormtroopers. And then there's second floor is like a cafeteria and that sort of thing. And then it's offices above that. There's a cafeteria and like a changing room, that sort of locker room, that sort of thing. And then it's offices up top.
And just to clarify, they're looking for like security codes and stuff to get in, right?
Yeah, they want to be able to get in undetected. They don't care how. If you get security codes, if you get someone who will let them in, that's fine too. But they want to be able to get in undetected past the initial security. You don't have to be there to do it. You're doing this before, like a few days before they're planning to hit the place.
Would I know about, or could I find out if I know about any sort of like access or utility tunnels or some way they could get in undetected from not the main entrance, basically?
Absolutely. You know, there probably is that sort of thing, but to find out, you'd have to make a gather information roll of some kind.
It sounds like it might be survey. Survey a location to understand what's going on.
Survey a location or situation to understand what's going on. It's either that or study, but I think survey works.
Yeah, survey. So if I go survey, that's probably me skulking around to see, like, not like looking at blueprints. That would be study.
Yeah.
That's survey is me like going on the ground and seeing if there's any stuff there. Cool. I think that's
looking around down on the service sub level. That's like sewers and that sort of thing.
Yeah, just hanging out in the sewers. That's
yeah. Like a proper murderer.
What if we don't find a way in? Like maybe we're gonna try to make. Well, I guess that would be the part of the mission itself. Never mind. I was like, I have demolition tools. I was wondering if we could just make
a hole. Yeah. That's also good.
If it was discovered, it would be worthless.
Yeah, so you have your 2 dice, and this is just a straight up roll. There's no risk of consequences or that sort of thing.
Okay, cool. So that's 2 dice. Go survey again. Here we go.
It's I think fortune roll is the.
That's a 5 and a 6.
Nice.
Good luck today.
So
and this is not locating a target, so the scout doesn't enter into it, I think.
Yeah, let me look at that. Located target. No, that's I don't think this that applies here. There's definitely a service access from below. It's still secure. You need to get inside, but it's the way you figure the layout should be. This will be like in a off hidden corner somewhere down in the basement. It's not going to be obvious probably if you do something there, unless someone's passing by or poking around there at the wrong time.
Cool. Yeah. So I find the actual location of where the tunnel is underneath, and then just from what I know of the layout, that's where I think it's
Yeah. It's probably, I mean, sorry. Yeah, that's it. So does anyone else have something they want to do?
Is this, I know you've already said this. This is a core sec, right? This is
street sec. So
sec,
it's a street cops.
Okay. Because I have a Corsair officer contact. So.
That could probably still help in some way.
Yeah, he's really upset with me right now. So, just thinking.
So do we want to focus our efforts on figuring out how to get them access to that underground one, or do we want to explore other options as well?
Well, it sounds like they want to do their entire job undetected,
Yeah.
right? So
They're probably going to cause a lot of noise once they're in there, but they want to get. They don't want to have to storm the place.
Yeah.
They're planning to basically kill a bunch of people, blow some stuff up, and then get out. So they're going to be noisy once they're inside, but they want to be able to get inside and get at them without having to fight their way in.
The demolitions might not need to be a big boom. Like it could be small shaped charges to open or weaken those doors down there, or however that is.
Even slicing type stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But they want this to be ready. They want to be sure that they can get in. They don't want any hiccups once they're there. They want it to be everything to be finished.
I think most of the things I would want to do could be handled in flashbacks. So I'd be happy to roll engagement. I mean, we could do a bit of gathering info on just like learning a little more about the security system. Like even if we go with Bo when he is doing his surveying, just to kind of like get eyes on the place and do a little bit of cursory, like what's going to stop us here.
Yeah.
But that's the best thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't have any contacts for this. I have study, which would be like studying blueprints or like plans or typical street sec use security stuff.
I mean, it could be if you're down there in the sewers and checking out the particulars of this this specific thing, you could definitely use study if you want to look for a way to apply that.
Would Tinker be useful down there too, to like preemptively like unlock the door and then be like, door's unlocked whenever you're ready?
Yeah, I just don't know how much of that
that's
is like
kind
the
of part
job.
of the job.
That's the engagement. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I could get down there and bring my slicing tools and try to do some
Assess it.
It seems like there's still a risk there though, which isn't really gather info, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So I
or
guess
even just looking like that, that's just a locked door, that's a keypad, that's like high security, not gonna touch it.
Yeah.
What you could do is try to find a similar security setup somewhere else where it's not as important. If you trip it, like an old disused one, it won't be active. So but you can like check out some.
Oh, there's a new one being built.
Yeah.
And like it's you know, like it's just construction workers and stuff like that. And all we have to do is just show up looking official, and say we're checking, you know, how things are, you know, and we can just do a run on what the security system will look like.
Get some clipboards.
Cool.
Yeah.
I would like to do a Tinker gather info if we can we can hack it.
Absolutely.
I'll be your face for this.
Cool. And Tima can be on a roof nearby with her night vision eye, just ready to dome a security guard if it's got to happen. Okay. Let's do it. Gather info.
Can I assist?
Can you assist?
I don't think so
Yeah.
this is just a fortune roll.
Yeah, so I have rolled standard, good details, clarifying. Yeah,
Yeah.
standard.
So yeah, this this service service hatch, if we call it that, it's difficult to open from the outside. It's designed to be locked from the inside and only open from the inside. So if you want to open it from the outside, you have to use force. There's no, you won't be able to slice it from the outside.
And this might not come with gather info here, but I am curious if there's going to be like droids involved on us. Again, yeah.
Yeah, there are definitely droids operating on the service sublevel. So there could be. I mean, they take care of some of the waste and that sort of thing. And if they have sort of cleaning droids that come in, they might come in this way. That seems likely.
Okay.
But they'll be let in from the inside. They won't be able to open the hatch from the outside.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Everything is in order. Proceed.
So if we wanted to try to get someone on the inside, is that part of the gig, or would that be setting stuff up?
I think that's part of the job.
Okay.
What you could do is probably find out general information. Is everyone here on the take? Are they or are they like stand-up imperial loyalists, that sort of thing? What the general mood of the place is.
Yeah.
That's definitely something you could do a roll for to get some info on that.
I could do that if no one else wants to get something else.
I'm ready for engagement, I think.
We're starting to come up on time, so I think this will be the last thing in that case.
Cool. I can definitely. I mean, it feels like that might be survey again. I'm not sure. Or consort, maybe, if I'm getting friendly with cops.
Yeah, definitely consort if you're, or it could be consort if you're like talking to them and trying to figure out what the situation is.
Yeah, I think
your ex colleagues here and there try to.
Yeah.
Awful chummy there, Bokaj.
That's what I do.
Bria's like, Boko really enjoys being with cops. I don't know if I can trust this guy anymore.
I stole this bottle of booze from the other guy. So.
That's what an insider would say.
Do they know you stole it, or was that? Yeah, sure. So if you want to roll a consort for that, you can absolutely do it.
Can I push myself on this one?
I don't think so. I think these are just straight up. You just pick the action and roll.
Cool. Let's do it then. 5 on that one.
Yeah. This is what you figure out is it's kind of a mixed bag. It's not everyone's. It's not completely one way or the other. It's a fairly well-run station. They meet their quotas. There haven't been any big scandals about them being letting anyone go that was too important or that sort of thing. But they're not outstanding or anything. No particular commendations for the commanding officer.
Yeah. Do I get the impression that any of them might be swayed by one of our more vicious team members, implying violence against them or someone associated with them to gain their cooperation?
That's always a possibility. You can definitely try to find that kind of person, but I think that's part of the job.
That's part of the job. Yeah.
Yeah. That's, I mean, if your approach is social, then that would that could be the way you approach this.
Cool.
So I think we're coming up on that. We only have a few more minutes. I think it's good if you pick your approach. So I'll just go through the options. You have assault, where you're trying to basically violently attack. That doesn't seem like what you're going for here. Deception, where you're trying to trick your way in. Stealth, where you're being sneaky. Weird, if you're using strange powers or technology. Social, to negotiate, bargain, or persuade. Or transport, if you're trying to carry cargo or that sort of thing. Transport and assault does not sound like what you're doing. You haven't been doing any weird, but it could be you figure something out there. But deception, stealth, or social seems to be the most likely ones. I think if you're trying to if you're trying to find someone you can push to get codes or access, that sounds like social, or possibly deception, depending on what approach you're going for. I think it would be stealth if you're trying to figure out some way to get inside, open this hatch, that sort of thing. But if you have other ideas, I'm open to it.
I would lean towards social unless someone else has preference or ideas.
So the social is that. Do you want to clarify this? The connection, I guess, which is
We want to compromise someone on the inside, either through intimidation or manipulation, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I'm into that. There's always backups and contingencies if our intention goes bad. So
yeah,
if that could work.
Yeah, explosions are a good backup. So for that.
Yeah, so for next time I will figure out a person who is vulnerable and who, because that's what you would have found, someone who is vulnerable to persuasion of some sort, and who has enough access to be able to get you what you need.
Cool.
Would you like for us to make the roll this session, or do you want to wait till the start of the next?
I think we'll save that for next time.
Cool.
We just have a few more minutes. I'd like to do some quick stars and wishes.
And XP.
And XP, right. XP first, and stars and wishes later, if we still have time. So let's start with the crew XP. You get crew XP for executing a successful accident, disappearance, murder, or ransom operation. You definitely did that. So that's, you get 1 XP if you did it once, if it happened once during the session, 2 XP if it happened multiple times, you did 1. So that's 1. Contend with challenges above your current station, definitely check mark on that. Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one. Your reputation is that you're professionals. I think you did that. You did a very, very nice, clean job. Express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew. I would say that since you have aimed this at being hitman for the rebels, basically, I would say that you've done that.
Yeah, we used stealth or subterfuge to commit murder for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We think that occurred multiple times. We go to 2 for that.
Maybe. do you have
I mean, I did a couple of things, right? Like I helped out Edema with her pain.
Mhm.
I got suspicious of Boko from all this cop dealing that he's been doing. You know, I always see that as the essential. Like we're defining the essential nature of the crew. Like I'm paranoid but soft. So
No, I'm fine with that. That gives you a total of 5 XP. You need 3 more for the crew to get an advance.
sweet.
So let's do individual XP. We'll do this in reverse character keeper order, just to keep Rich waiting. We'll do it in that order. Need to switch it up sometimes.
Yeah.
So we're starting with Morn.
So no desperate actions.
Yeah, none of that.
I
You
don't
address the
think-
challenge with technical skill or mayhem.
I don't think I did too much of that. Most of my role in the job today was just kind of being around, being conspicuous. I think I'll have lots of chances for that. I think I definitely expressed my beliefs, drives, heritage, and background. I showed that I have connections. I know how to move a dead body. I am a person who fixes things for people, and that's kind of my whole identity here, and the thing that makes me not exclusively a horrible scoundrel. So I would think there'd be 2 in there, but I don't think there's any XP in the other categories.
That sounds absolutely fair. So 2 XP, and you get to put those on, I think you get to put them on either the playbook or an attribute, or is it just the playbook?
Yep. No, it's both.
Yeah, cool. So you can choose.
Sweet.
I don't.
I'll put them in playbook because there's a lot of quiz
Oh,
stuff.
there, up there, the playbook. Yeah, cool. Okay, so Bria.
Yeah, so I marked an XP for my desperate prowess action. Did I address a challenge with stealth or evasion? I mean, GTFO with a speeder is evasion to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 2. You express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I think my heritage came into play, like being a snotty noble with Frake, the security expert. All right, so that's 3 XP for me. I mean, one of which is already marked, so 2 XP.
Cool. Boko.
Did not do a desperate action. Is any of the tracking I did count for a challenge, or is that just setup stuff?
I think that should count. This is kind of calling back to the first session, but you did a lot of tracking of the target. I think that that should count.
I accept. Trying to fuck with Celine, so I think that might be one of my drives there.
Yeah.
That's that second one. And definitely struggled with issues with my vice, getting kicked out forever from shock boxing. I'll take that one too. That's 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Etama.
No desperate actions were rolled by me. Address the challenge with violence or coercion. I was the point in stunning somebody, so I think that's good, right?
Yeah.
Express beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I think there was some play with Morn and maybe a little bit with Bria. Not saying it's 2 separate times per se, but just there's enough to count. And struggle with issues from Vice because I got kicked out too. So I think 3 XP.
That sounds fair.
All right.
Felt like maybe there was 2 worth for beliefs, drives, heritage, and background. I don't know. You talked about the huts, and it just felt like there was quite a bit of intima going on in the session.
I won't say no.
All right, MC. I'll take that 4th XP.
Cool.
You did spice in a dude's shop.
Yeah. I mean,
That
giving
was a
drugs to
train wreck,
Ectoma, I'm
guys.
not sure that's ever a good idea, but
Sweet.
okay, we're past time. I'd like to do stars and wishes, but if you have to leave, you have to leave. That's fine.
I can stick around for a bit.
Cool. I think we'll stop the recording and we'll do that
Okay.
offline.